The fateful broadcast. The familiar chime of an incoming video call echoed through the cozy living room of the Martinez family's prefab home on New Horizon, humanity's farthest colony. 12-year-old Zoe Martinez bounced onto the worn couch, her dark curls bobbing as she adjusted the holoscreen. The faces of her grandparents, wrinkled with age but beaming with love, flickered into view. "Abuela, abuelo," Zoe exclaimed, her gap-toothed grin stretching from ear to ear. "Guess what? I grew another inch this month." Her grandmother, Elena, chuckled warmly. Mijita, soon you'll be taller than your pap." Zoe's grandfather, Miguel, leaned closer to the screen, his bushy eyebrows furrowing. "And how are your studies going, Zoe? Still top of your class in xenobiology?" The young girl's eyes lit up. "Oh, abuelo, you won't believe what we discovered yesterday. We found these bioluminescent fungi that respond to sound waves. When we play music, they create the most beautiful light shows." As Zoe launched into an animated description of her latest scientific exploits, her little brother Mateo toddled into view, clutching a stuffed alien plushie. Elena cooed at the sight of her youngest grandchild, while Miguel playfully waggled his fingers at the screen. The conversation flowed easily, bridging the vast expanse of space between Earth and New Horizon. Zoe regaled her grandparents with tales of the colony's recent harvest festival, the new species of butterfly-like creatures she'd helped classify, and her upcoming role in the school play. "I'm going to be the voice of the colony ship's eye in our reenactment of the first landing," Zoe announced proudly. "I've been practicing my robotic voice. Wanna hear?" Before her grandparents could respond, a distant boom shook the Martinez home. Zoe's smile faltered for a moment, but she quickly plastered it back on. "Probably just another quake. We get them sometimes when the terraforming machines are working overtime." Elena and Miguel exchanged worried glances. "Mijita, are you sure everything's okay?" Elena asked, her voice tinged with concern. Zoe opened her mouth to reassure them when another louder explosion rocked the building. This time, the lights flickered, and a faint wail of sirens could be heard in the distance. "Zoe," Miguel's voice sharpened with alarm. "What's happening?" The young girl's eyes widened as she turned to look out the window. Her face drained of color. I don't know. There's smoke coming from the direction of the spaceport, and, oh no." The camera view shook as Zoe grabbed the holoprojector and rushed to the window. What her grandparents saw next would be seared into the collective memory of humanity for generations to come. Sleek, serpentine shapes sliced through New Horizon's pink-tinged sky. They moved with an otherworldly grace, leaving trails of sickly green energy in their wake. As the camera focused, the alien nature of the craft became horrifyingly clear. They were not ships in the traditional sense, but massive, semi-organic entities that pulsed and writhed as they descended upon the colony. "Dios mío," Elena whispered, her hand flying to her mouth. Zoe's voice came back, small and trembling. "Abuela, abuelo, I think we're under attack." The next few moments were chaos. The camera view bounced wildly as Zoe ran through the house, calling for her parents. "Mom, Pap, where are you?" A high-pitched scream cut through the air. "Mateo." Zoe sprinted towards the sound, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She burst into the kitchen to find her little brother pointing out the window, his face streaked with tears. Outside, writhing tendrils of the same sickly green energy they'd seen in the sky were creeping along the ground, seeming to consume everything they touched. Where they passed, the carefully cultivated earth of New Horizon withered and blackened. Zoe scooped up Mateo, hugging him close. "Shay, it's okay. Hermanito. We need to be quiet now, okay? Like when we play hide and seek." She turned back to the holoprojector, her young face set with a determination far beyond her years. "Abuela, abuelo, I need to find Mama and Papa. I'm going to hide Mateo, but I'll keep the projector with me. Can you call for help? Tell Earth what's happening here." Miguel nodded gravely, tears glistening in his eyes. "We will, Mijita. We'll tell everyone. Just stay safe, please." Zoe managed a weak smile. "I will. I love you both." With that, she tucked the projector under her arm and carried Matteo to their parents' bedroom. The camera caught glimpses of the chaos outside. Colonists running in panic, more alien craft descending, flashes of weapons fire. In the bedroom, Zoe quickly shoved aside a heavy dresser, revealing a hidden panic room. She ushered Matteo inside, along with the family dog who had been whimpering in the corner. "Matteo, listen to me," Zoe said, her voice firm despite the fear evident in her eyes. "You need to stay here, no matter what. Don't make a sound. Don't come out until Mama, Papa, or I come to get you. Do you understand?" The little boy nodded, his bottom lip quivering. Zoe handed him her prized possession, a well-worn copy of The Little Prince. "Read to Rover," she said, gesturing to the trembling dog. "It'll help you both stay calm. Remember, not a sound." With a final hug, Zoe sealed the panic room and pushed the dresser back into place. She turned to the holoprojector, her face a mask of grim determination. "I'm going to find my parents," she announced to her grandparents, who had been watching the scene unfold in horrified silence. "Keep trying to reach the authorities on Earth. Someone needs to know what's happening here." Elena sobbed quietly. "Zoe, mi amor, please be careful. Hide if you can." The young girl shook her head. "I can't. Abuela, Mam and Pap might need help. I have to try." As Zoe crept through the house, the sounds of destruction grew louder. Crashes, explosions, and spine-chilling screeches echoed from all directions. She paused at the front door, taking a deep breath before slowly turning the handle. The scene that greeted her was apocalyptic. The once idyllic streets of New Horizon were now a war zone. Columns of smoke rose from burning buildings, and the air was thick with ash and the acrid smell of alien energy weapons. Zoe stepped out cautiously, her eyes darting in every direction. "Mom, Pap," she called out, her voice barely above a whisper. A movement caught her eye, a flash of familiar blue fabric, her mother's favorite jacket. Zoe's heart leaped as she spotted her parents huddled behind an overturned agricultural rover about 50 meters down the street. She was about to call out to them when a shadow fell over her. Zoe looked up, her blood turning to ice in her veins. Looming above her was a creature straight out of humanity's darkest nightmares. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, its body a writhing mass of tendrils and barbed appendages. Multiple eyes, glowing with the same sickly green energy that powered their ships, focused on the young girl. Zoe's parents had spotted her too. They burst from their hiding place, screaming her name, running towards her with desperate speed. In that moment, Zoe Martinez made a decision that would change the course of human history. Instead of running, instead of hiding, she stood her ground. With trembling hands, she raised the holoprojector, making sure her grandparents, and through them, all of humanity, could see what she was about to do. "Hey, you big ugly squid face," she shouted, her voice cracking but strong. "Why don't you pick on someone your own size?" He had been standing, but the young girl's bravery had cost her dearly. As her mother tried to drag her to safety, another blast caught Zoe squarely in the back. Her small body arched in agony, a scream of pain torn from her throat. The holoprojector, knocked from her grasp, skittered across the ground. It came to rest at an angle that captured the full horror of the scene. Zoe's lifeless form cradled in her mother's arms, her father standing over them, firing a colonist's mining laser at the advancing alien in a futile gesture of resistance. Back on Earth, Elena and Miguel Martinez watched in paralyzed anguish as their son-in-law fell, as their daughter was dragged away by the alien invaders. They witnessed the holoprojector being crushed under a massive inhuman foot, the last image seared into their minds being the blank, lifeless eyes of their beloved granddaughter. The transmission cut to static, But it was too late. The live feed had been broadcasting not just to the Martinez grandparents, but due to a quirk of the quantum entanglement communication system, to millions of homes across Earth. Humanity had just witnessed the opening salvo of an interstellar war, live and in horrifying detail. And at the center of it all was Zoe Martinez, a 12-year-old girl whose courage in the face of the unknown would become the rallying cry for an entire species. The age of human innocence in the galaxy had ended. The era of retribution was about to begin. Pandora's Hangar. The video of Zoe Martinez's last stand spread across the globe like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of grief, rage, and demands for immediate action. Within hours of the transmission, major cities around the world erupted in protests. From the neon-lit streets of Neo-Tokyo to the floating arcologies of New Amsterdam, millions of voices cried out for vengeance. In Washington, D.C., President Adama stood before a hastily assembled press corps, her face ashen. "My fellow citizens of Earth and her colonies, today we face the gravest threat in human history. The attack on New Horizon was not just an assault on a distant outpost, but a direct challenge to our existence as a species. I assure you, our response will be swift and decisive." But as the hours ticked by and no concrete action materialized, public frustration mounted. Conspiracy theories flourished in the vacuum of official information. Why hadn't Earth's defense forces mobilized? Where were the spacecraft carriers, the orbital defense platforms that had been touted as humanity's shield against extraterrestrial threats? It was in this charged atmosphere that Dr. Kira Chen, a mid-level data analyst at the European Space Agency, made a fateful decision. For months, she had been tracking anomalous energy signatures and resource allocations that didn't add up. Now, with humanity on the brink, she couldn't keep silent any longer. Using an anonymized quantum mesh network, Dr. Chen uploaded terabytes of classified data to public servers worldwide. Within minutes, hacktivists and citizen journalists were combing through the files, uncovering a secret that would shake the foundations of human society. Project Nemesis. Buried deep beneath the ice of Antarctica and hidden on the dark side of the moon were vast, hidden hangars. And within those hangars lay humanity's true defense fleet, a force of warships so advanced they seemed to belong to the realm of science fiction rather than hard reality. As the leaks spread, governments around the world scrambled to contain the fallout. But it was too late. Satellite imagery confirming the existence of the lunar base flooded social media. Eyewitness accounts from Antarctic Research Station personnel corroborated the presence of strange, underground facilities. The public demanded answers, and they would not be silenced. In a secure bunker beneath the Pentagon, President Adama faced off against the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the directors of various intelligence agencies. The atmosphere was tense, years of secrecy and carefully laid plans unraveling in real time. "Madam President, General Zhang of the Global Defense Initiative began. We need to initiate the Lazarus Protocol immediately." Project Nemesis was designed for precisely this scenario. Adama's eyes flashed. And when, exactly, was the democratically elected leadership of this planet going to be informed about this project? We're talking about a secret fleet that apparently outclasses anything in our public arsenal by orders of magnitude. CIA Director Foster stepped forward, her voice measured. "Madam President, Project Nemesis has been a black book operation for over 3 decades. Its existence was compartmentalized to ensure absolute secrecy. Even most of us only learned about it when we assumed our current roles." The President's retort was cut short as her aide burst into the room, tablet in hand. "Ma'am, you need to see this. Dr. Ava Patel is about to go live on GlobalNet." The screens in the bunker flickered to life, showing a woman in her early 50s with streaks of gray in her dark hair. Her eyes, magnified by round spectacles, held a mixture of determination and fear. "People of Earth," Dr. Patel began, her Indian accent clipped and precise. "My name is Dr. Ava Patel. For the past 25 years, I have served as the chief scientist of Project Nemesis. In light of recent events, I can no longer in good conscience keep our work hidden from the public. With mere hours left before the polls opened, President Adama addressed the world once more. Citizens of Earth, we stand at a crossroads unlike any in human history. The decision we make in the coming hours will shape not just our future, but potentially the future of all life in our galaxy. I urge each of you to vote your conscience, to choose the path that you believe will best secure a future in which humanity can thrive among the stars. As her words faded, a tense silence fell over the planet. In homes, public squares, and refugee camps, billions of humans contemplated the weight of the choice before them. The fate of Project Nemesis, and perhaps of humanity itself, hung in the balance. The polls were about to open, and the galaxy held its breath. Stars and strife. The global referendum on Project Nemesis concluded with a resounding decision. 68% of Earth's population voted to activate the secret fleet for immediate counterattack against the alien aggressors. The remaining votes were split between diplomatic approaches and non-military options, but the will of the majority was clear. Humanity would fight. As the results were announced, a somber hush fell over the planet, quickly followed by a frenzy of activity. The United Nations Security Council, expanded to include representatives from all Earth nations and off-world colonies, convened an emergency session to oversee the activation of Project Nemesis. Dr. Eva Patel stood before the council, her face etched with the weight of responsibility. Distinguished representatives, the Nemesis fleet stands ready. But before we launch, there is one more revelation I must share. A murmur rippled through the assembly as Dr. Patel activated a holographic display. The image of a massive warship, unlike any in the known fleet, materialized before them. "This is the ANV Zo's vengeance," Dr. Patel announced, her voice tinged with a mixture of pride and apprehension. "Our flagship, and the most advanced vessel ever created by human hands. It is equipped with a prototype AI system that can coordinate the entire fleet with efficiency beyond human capability." The council erupted in a cacophony of questions and demands for explanation. Dr. Patel raised her hands for silence. "I understand your concerns. The AI is not a true artificial general intelligence. It is a highly specialized system, designed solely for space combat and strategy, and it requires a human pilot to function." As the implications of this news sank in, a figure rose from the back of the chamber. Commander Jack Harper, his face haggard and eyes burning with barely contained grief, stepped forward. "I'll pilot it," he said, his voice carrying clearly despite its low volume. "I'm Zoe Martinez's father. I wasn't there to protect her on New Horizon. Let me be the one to carry her name into battle." A hush fell over the assembly. President Adama, serving as chair of the expanded Security Council, leaned forward. "Commander Harper, are you certain? The psychological toll of interfacing with such an AI system." "With all due respect, Madam President," Harper interrupted, "I've already endured the worst pain imaginable. If there's even a chance this can help us save other families from the same fate, I'm willing to pay any price." After a tense debate, the council approved Harper's request. Within hours, he was shuttled to the lunar base where the ANV Zo's vengeance awaited. As Harper stepped into the ship's neural interface chamber, Dr. Patel's voice came through the comm system. "Jack, once you connect with the AI, you'll have access to the entire fleet's sensory data. It might be overwhelming at first." Harper managed a grim smile. "I'm ready, Ava. Let's introduce these aliens to the wrath of humanity." The neural link activated, and Harper's consciousness expanded. Suddenly, he wasn't just Jack Harper anymore. He was the fleet. He could feel every ship, see through every sensor array. And at the core of it all was the I, a presence both alien and familiar. "Hello, Commander Harper," the AI spoke directly into his mind. "I am the Autonomous Naval Intelligence, but you may call me Annie. Shall we begin?" With Harper at the helm, the Nemesis fleet launched. Hundreds of ships, from agile fighters to massive dreadnoughts, rose from their hidden bases on Earth and the Moon. As they accelerated out of the solar system, Dr. Patel's voice echoed through the fleet-wide comm. Godspeed, Nemesis Fleet. You carry with you the hopes and fears of all humanity. May your aim be true and your resolve unshakable. The journey to New Horizon would have taken months with conventional propulsion. But as Commander Harper gave the order, the Nemesis Fleet engaged their FTL drives. Space itself seemed to fold around them, stars blurring into streaks of light. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the edge of the New Horizon system. What they found was a scene of ongoing devastation. The alien fleet, vastly larger than the initial attack force, had established a chokehold on the colony. Massive ships trip-mined asteroids and moons, seemingly intent on harvesting every resource in the system. But amid the chaos, there were signs of hope. Flashes of weapons fire from the planet's surface indicated that some colonial defense forces or civilians were still fighting back. Through the AI interface, Harper addressed the fleet. Nemesis squadron leaders, you have your targets. Remember, we're not just fighting for vengeance. We're fighting for every human life in this system and back home. Weapons free. Give 'em hell. The battle erupted with a fury that would be remembered for generations. Nemesis fighters swarmed the larger alien ships, their advanced energy weapons slicing through defenses that had seemed impenetrable to the colonists. Larger human vessels engaged in broadside exchanges with alien dreadnoughts, space itself warping from the energy being thrown about. On the bridge of Zoe's vengeance, Harper worked in perfect synchronization with Annie. The AI predicted enemy movements with uncanny accuracy, while Harper's human intuition provided the creative strategies that kept the aliens off balance. Commander. Annie's voice resonated in Harper's mind. I'm detecting an unusual energy signature from the alien flagship. They appear to be charging a weapon of unprecedented power. Harper's eyes narrowed. Target locked. All power to forward shields and main gun. Let's see how they like a taste of their own medicine. Zoe's vengeance surged forward, its main cannon gathering energy, until it glowed like a newborn star. At Harper's command, it unleashed a beam of pure destruction that lanced through space, punching through the alien flagship's defenses and splitting the massive ship in two. As the alien command ship disintegrated, the tide of battle shifted decisively. Without centralized coordination, the invaders fell into disarray. The Nemesis fleet pressed its advantage, methodically dismantling the alien forces. Hours later, as the last enemy ships retreated or were destroyed, an eerie calm settled over the battlefield. Harper slumped in his neural interface chair, exhausted but alert. Annie, status report. The AI's response was instant. Enemy fleet neutralized, Commander. I estimate 78% of their forces destroyed, the remainder in full retreat. However, we've detected numerous enemy ground forces still active on New Horizon and neighboring moons. Harper nodded grimly. Prepare for ground deployment. We're not done until every last one of these bastards is off our world. As Nemesis dropships began their descent to New Horizon's surface, Harper opened a channel to the planet below. This is Commander Jack Harper of the Earth Defense Fleet. To any human survivors, help is on the way. To any alien invaders still planetside, be advised. You have 1 hour to surrender or be destroyed. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Cheers and cries of relief flooded the comms from hidden bunkers and makeshift strongholds across the colony. The ground battle would be hard-fought, but for the first time since the invasion began, hope blossomed in the hearts of New Horizons people. As Harper coordinated the ground assault from orbit, a priority message came through from Earth. Dr. Patel's hologram appeared before him, her expression a mix of relief and concern. Jack, congratulations on the victory, but we got a new problem. The retreating alien ships. They're not just running away. They're following a specific vector, moving faster than we thought possible. We think they're heading home to report. Harper's blood ran cold as the implications set in. You mean? Dr. Patel nodded solemnly. This was just a scouting party, Jack. We may have just picked a fight with an entire galactic civilization, and we have no idea how big they really are. As the weight of this revelation settled on his shoulders, Harper gazed out at the stars. The battle for New Horizon was won, but he knew in his gut that the war was far from over. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage with a thunderous roar. Now they had to prepare for the echo. The Hive of Lies. The liberation of New Horizon marked a turning point in humanity's first interstellar war. As reconstruction efforts began on the battered colony, Commander Jack Harper and the Nemesis fleet set their sights on a new objective: pursuing the retreating alien forces to their point of origin. Dr. Ava Patel's voice crackled through the quantum entanglement comm aboard the ANV Zoe's Vengeance. Jack, the UN Security Council has given you the green light, but I must stress the risks. We're sending our entire offensive capability into unknown territory. Harper's jaw tightened as he interfaced with Annie, the ship's eye. Understood, Ava. But if we don't take the fight to them, we'll just be sitting ducks waiting for their next attack. As the Nemesis fleet prepared to jump to FTL, Harper addressed his crew and AI companion. All right, people. We're about to venture further than any human has ever gone. Stay sharp and remember what we're fighting for. Affirmative, Commander, Annie responded, its voice resonating in Harper's mind. FTL drives spooled and ready, awaiting your command. With a deep breath, Harper gave the order. Punch it. The fleet surged forward, reality stretching around them as they plunged into the depths of uncharted space. Days passed in subjective time, though months elapsed back on Earth. The further they traveled, the more unsettled Harper became. Annie? He queried the AI. Does something feel off to you? There was a pause, unusual for the near-instantaneous AI. Commander, I'm detecting anomalies in our sensor data. The star patterns we're observing don't match any known configurations in our astronomical databases. Before Harper could respond, alarms blared across the ship. They had arrived at their destination, but what they found defied explanation. Before them loomed a structure of impossible scale, a vast, sprawling space station that seemed to breathe and pulse with otherworldly energy. Its surface writhed with organic-looking protrusions, a blend of technology and biology that dwarfed even the Nemesis fleet's most massive ships. My God, Harper whispered. Annie, what are we looking at? The AI's response was tinged with what almost sounded like awe. Commander, preliminary analysis suggests this is not merely a space station. It appears to be a living entity, a collective consciousness. I believe we found the source of our alien invaders. As the fleet held position at a safe distance, the station's surface rippled. Countless smaller craft, similar to those that had attacked New Horizon, began to emerge. Battle stations, Harper commanded. Prepare for. But the expected attack never came. Instead, a transmission cut through their comms, a cacophony of overlapping voices that slowly coalesced into comprehensible speech. Humans of Earth, the voice reverberated, somehow conveying both curiosity and disdain. You have traveled far to die. Why do you seek us? Harper steeled himself, opening a channel. This is Commander Jack Harper of Earth. We've come in response to your unprovoked attack on our colony. We demand explanations and reparations for your actions. A sound like laughter, but devoid of mirth, echoed through the comms. Unprovoked, ignorant creatures. Your very existence is a provocation. Your colony, as you call it, infringed upon territory ceded eons ago for our eventual expansion. As the exchange continued, Annie's voice cut in urgently in Harper's mind. Commander, I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations within the station. They could be preparing a weapon, or... Harper didn't have time to contemplate the AI's warning. The space around the Nemesis fleet suddenly warped, and in a flash, they found themselves pulled inside the gargantuan structure. Panic erupted across the fleet as ships found themselves navigating narrow, organic-looking corridors. All vessels, maintain formation. Harper ordered. Weapons hot, but hold fire unless engaged. As Zoe's vengeance led the fleet deeper into the living station, Harper and a small team prepared for an unprecedented mission. They were going to board the alien hive mind itself, using short-range teleportation technology. Another fruit of Project Nemesis, Harper and an elite squad materialized within what appeared to be a central chamber of the vast entity. The interior was a nightmare of pulsing flesh and crystalline technology. Tendrils of light snaked through the air, carrying what seemed to be information, or perhaps consciousness itself. "Stay alert," Harper warned his team. "We don't know what." His words were cut short as the tendrils of light suddenly enveloped them. Harper felt his mind expanding, connecting to something vast and ancient. In that moment of connection, the truth was laid bare. Humanity's crucible. The return of the Nemesis fleet to Earth was met with a mixture of jubilation and trepidation. As the sleek ships descended through the atmosphere, their hulls still bearing scars from distant battles, humanity held its collective breath. The war was over, but at what cost? In a packed assembly hall at United Nations headquarters in New York, Lieutenant Chen stood before the Security Council, her face etched with the weight of her experiences. The room fell silent as she began her report. "Distinguished representatives of Earth and her colonies, I stand before you today with news that will forever alter the course of human history. The alien threat we faced, the Neuropsych Collective, has been neutralized, but not through conventional warfare." Murmurs rippled through the audience as Chen recounted the incredible tale, the living space station, the true nature of their enemy, and Commander Jack Harper's sacrifice. As she spoke, holographic displays showed footage from the mission, including the last transmission from the Harper Collective entity. President Adama leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "Lieutenant, are you saying that Commander Harper has become one with this alien collective?" Chen nodded solemnly. "Yes, Madam President. In doing so, he rewrote their core directives. The Neuropsych Collective is no longer a threat to humanity or any other life in the galaxy. In fact, they've pledged to become guardians of diversity and peace." The assembly erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some hailed Harper as a hero, others denounced him as a traitor who had made a deal with the enemy. Ethical debates raged about the nature of consciousness and the implications of merging with a hive mind. Dr. Ava Patel stepped up to the podium, her usual composure shaken but intact. "While Commander Harper's actions have ended the immediate threat, we now face challenges perhaps even greater than war. The galaxy as we knew it has changed. We are not alone, and we are far from the most advanced civilization among the stars." As the implications sank in, a new transmission cut through the chaos. The holographic displays flickered, and a figure appeared, a strange amalgamation of human and alien features that vaguely resembled Jack Harper. "People of Earth," the Harper Collective spoke, its voice a harmonious blend of countless minds. "We understand your fear and confusion. What has transpired is unprecedented, but it also presents an opportunity for growth beyond imagination." The being went on to explain that the Neuropsych Collective, with its vast knowledge accumulated over eons, was willing to share technology and information that could revolutionize human society. Cures for diseases, solutions to climate change, advances in space travel that would make colonizing the galaxy a reality. But, a Harper Collective cautioned, this knowledge comes with great responsibility. We have seen civilizations rise and fall, consumed by technologies they were not ready to wield. We offer not just knowledge, but guidance, a partnership as humanity takes its place among the stars. The offer sparked intense debate. Some saw it as the dawn of a new golden age for humanity. Others warned of becoming dependent on alien benefactors, of losing what made humans unique. Months passed as Earth grappled with the decision. The Nemesis fleet stood vigil at the edge of the solar system, a bridge between humanity and the vast, transformed Neuropsych Collective that waited beyond. In labs and think tanks around the world, scientists and philosophers grappled with the implications of the Harper Collective's offer. Experiments in human-AI integration accelerated, inspired by Harper's merger with the alien consciousness. Ethical committees worked overtime, trying to establish frameworks for these new frontiers of existence. Meanwhile, the first wave of cultural changes swept across Earth. Religious leaders debated the spiritual implications of hive minds and the possibility of effective immortality through consciousness transfer. Artists created works that attempted to capture the vast scales of time and space humanity now had to contend with. Public opinion remained sharply divided. Protests erupted in major cities, some demanding immediate acceptance of the collective's offer, others insisting on isolation to preserve human independence. It was Dr. Eva Patul who finally proposed a compromise. "We cannot simply accept or reject this offer wholesale," she addressed a special session of the UN. "Instead, I propose a graduated approach. We establish joint human collective research stations at the edge of our solar system. We learn, we grow, but we do so cautiously and on our terms." The proposal gained traction. Humanity would not be diving headfirst into a sea of alien knowledge, nor would they be turning their backs on the galaxy. They would wade in carefully, testing the waters. As the first joint research station neared completion, a small team of human scientists prepared to make history. Led by Dr. Elena Martinez, Zoe's grandmother and a renowned xenobiologist, they would be the first to work directly with the transformed collective. On the day of their departure, Dr. Martinez stood at the foot of their shuttle, addressing a global audience. "Today, we take a step not just into space, but into a new era of human existence. We carry with us the hopes, dreams, and fears of our entire species, and we go with a question that has driven humanity since we first looked up at the stars. What's out there, and what is our place among it?" As the shuttle lifted off, carrying humanity's ambassadors to their rendezvous with the Harper Collective, a new chapter in Earth's history began. The age of isolation was over. For better or worse, humanity had joined the galactic community. Months turned to years. The research station became a hub of innovation, churning out discoveries that transformed life on Earth. Clean energy became abundant, diseases once thought incurable were wiped out, and the average human lifespan doubled and then tripled. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The first human volunteers to temporarily join their consciousness to the collective returned change, struggling to readjust to individual existence. New philosophies and forms of governance emerge, some embracing a more interconnected way of life, others fiercely guarding individuality. Earth's first extrasolar colony ship, incorporating technology gleaned from the collective, embarked on its maiden voyage. As it accelerated away from the solar system, it carried with it the hopes of a species and the watchful eye of its unlikely guardians. And yet, amid all the rapid change and mind-bending advances, a mystery lingered. In the deepest recesses of the Neuropsych Collective, in fragments of ancient data and half-remembered directives, there were hints of something more. The long-dead race that had created the collective, the ones they had been waiting for. What if they weren't as dead as everyone thought? It was Ani, the AI from Zoe's Vengeance, now fully integrated with Earth's defense networks, who first noticed the pattern. Strange signals, just on the edge of detectability, coming from the vast dark spaces between galaxies. As Ani brought its findings to Dr. Patel and the Harper Collective, a new sense of both anticipation and dread began to build. Humanity had survived its trial by fire, had taken its first steps into a larger universe. But perhaps, just perhaps, the true test was yet to come. In a quiet moment aboard the research station, Dr. Martinez stood at a viewport, gazing out at the star-studded void. In her hand, she held a worn photograph of a young girl with a bright smile and curious eyes. Zoe, whose sacrifice had set all of this in motion. "Well, Mijita," Elena whispered to the image of her granddaughter, "you always wanted to explore the stars. I don't think even you could have imagined this." As if in response, a shimmer of energy, a tendril of the Harper Collective, brushed against the viewport. For a moment, Alinda could have sworn she saw her granddaughter's face reflected in the glass, smiling back at her. The stars beckoned, filled with promise and peril in equal measure. Humanity stood at the threshold of a new epoch, their crucible behind them, the forge of the future glowing bright before them. Whatever came next, they would face it not as conquerors or victims, but as fellow travelers in the grand cosmic journey. The story of humanity among the stars had only just begun.